So what are we expecting to see then against the Titans on Thursday? A lot of Zach Dicer.
A lot of Zach Dicer, a lot of Brandon Doughty. This is probably going to be his one opportunity. If he makes a 53, I will be shocked. I like him. I just don't think he's ready. And I call it sponge. Did you ever watch Seinfeld?
Sure.
Okay, there's a sponge episode where Elaine basically evaluated guys to see if they were sponge-worthy or not. Yes. So I've always referred to people who make my 53, are they sponge-worthy? And Brandon Doughty is not sponge-worthy. Right. There are a lot of players who are not sponge-worthy. And I would want to see what Zach Dicer, I'm curious. I want to see Zach Dicer play. Let Brandon Doughty play the second half.
Fair enough. Let's go to Jabari. Asks on Twitter, do you think Laramie Tunsil and Jermon Bushrod can improve their run blocking?
Yes.
That's an interesting question because we're talking about a rookie and we're talking about a guy at the end of his career.
And who was at one point in his career one of the best run blocking offensive tackles in the NFL. Mm-hmm. I think Bushrod will get it together. I think physically is the issue with Bushrod. I think his body's beginning to wear down, needs rest. He needs to be put on the Brandon Albert plan, which is basically he doesn't practice once per week. Sure. But can you afford to do that, especially with a line that's still developing chemistry? Laramie Tunsil, I don't know that answer. And the reason I think he can, but when I evaluated his Ole Miss film, the one concern that I did have was he's not that good of a run blocker, which is why I immediately knew he wasn't going to be the #1 pick. Even though everybody was like, oh, he's so great, he's so great. No, he's not that great of a run blocker. But I will trade your inability to run block for a clean pocket for Ryan Tannehill. Unfortunately, that's going to make us a 70% passing team.
Which is probably what Adam Gase is going to do anyway.
No, he ran the ball in Chicago. Okay. Well, I mean, when you don't have a Peyton Manning, you're going to have to run the ball. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see the development of Laramie Tunsil and if Jermon Bushrod not only wins the starting right guard spot, but can stay healthy for all 16 games.
There's no Peyton Manning here.
No.
Barry on Twitter asks, what can we do to upgrade the cornerback position, or do we sink or swim with what we have?
I think when Chris Culliver gets healthy and is able to play probably in the second half of the season, he's coming back from an ACL injury, he's going to be starting the season on the PUP, I think you have a chance to have 4 quality cornerbacks. The issues that you have right now is you're paper thin, you have no depth behind the top 3 guys, which are Byron Maxwell, Xavier Howard, and Bobby McCain. And then throw in Michael Thomas there in the mix because he's going to be splitting that nickel spot. When you do suffer an injury, you've got Tony Lippett coming on the field. And I can handle Tony Lippett in spurts, in small doses. I can't handle him playing 50 snaps a game. And I think that that's unhealthy. So maybe pray that Chris Culliver gets healthy, comes back, and is able to contribute on.
You think it's going to be 8 weeks, though, before we see Culliver?
6 at least. Once you begin on the PUP, you can't play for the first 6 games. Probably 2 weeks to get yourself your sea legs under you. But yeah, I think he's probably more the second half of the season, probably after the bye.
All right, Ray. Hypothetically speaking, if this team stays healthy, can they be relevant? Relevant's an interesting question, I guess.
Relevant is an interesting question.
Does that mean in the playoff picture in December, let's say?
Yes, they can be in the playoff picture in December. Tony Sparano had a team in the playoff picture in December. Joe Philbin had a team in the playoff picture in December. Why not? Especially if they can stay healthy. Tony Sparano's first season with Chad Pennington, as I was saying earlier before the show began, thank you, Chad Pennington, because you produced the one winning season I've had covering the Dolphins. They were a relatively healthy team. And a lot of the teams that they were facing, a key player came into the game injured. And luck of the draw. You have to get lucky. Last year, I don't think the Dolphins were very lucky from an injury standpoint, where you've got all 3 linebackers battling injuries, and you really struggle at that unit, and you've got Neville Hewitt out there with Mike Hull and Zach Vigil. You're not winning like that. So it's important that you stay healthy and you have a Mike Pouncey healthy, that you have a Jelani Jenkins healthy, that you have a Devontae Parker healthy. So, yes, can they be relevant if they stay healthy? Yes. Can they be a playoff team? Probably not.
Well, again, though, you build your own depth, and while, yes.
You know what? It's hard to say you build your own depth because here's the issue when you talk about that. The Dolphins have had so much collateral loss because of management changes, because of coaching changes, because of scheme changes, that, okay, players like Chris McCain are on your roster, they just don't fit what you do. Or players like Bryce McCain. Bryce McCain is going to be a player for the Titans. Jamar Taylor is going to be a starter for the Browns.
Right.
Like, it's not like Brent Grimes is going to be a starter for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's not like you don't have talent. They just don't fit your scheme or what you want to do,
Right.
or they're not your guy, or, we got this draft pick. All that collateral loss, it adds up after time. And I did the count. I've covered 5 different front office executives, 4 different head coaches in 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. Think about that.
Right, that's a lot. I mean,
That's a lot of collateral loss.
Collateral loss. So, speaking of losses, it is time for us to. We're going to do this. It's prediction time.
It's a prediction time. First prediction of X's and Omar season.
What we've talked a lot about this team. We've seen a lot in the preseason. I think we have a pretty good feeling about how this year is going to go, and we're not overly optimistic about it.
I'm excited to see it because I'm going to be able to identify whether or not a lot of young players can play or not. And I think that that's what this season is about for Adam Gase. If you think about Joe Philbin's first year, they added one major free agent, which was Richard Marshall, the cornerback. Everything else was just filler because they needed to identify what they had on their team and their roster. And I think that this is a good season for you to identify what you have, know who your quarterback is, know what Jay Ajayi can do, know what Devontae Parker is, know if you've got a tight end for the future, know if you've got an offensive line with Laramie Tunsil, know if Jordan Phillips can be a nose tackle, know if Kiko Alonso and Jelani Jenkins can get the job done in linebacker, know if some of these young cornerbacks, Bobby McCain, Tony Lippett, this isn't going to be a year.
Basically, know what you need to do to put yourself in a
position to win.
Go to the playoffs in 2007.
Exactly. And I don't think this is a winning team from this standpoint. Your quarterback play is not good enough. Your depth is not good enough. Your trench play is not good enough. Those are 3 issues that are going to bite you in the butt during the season. And to me, all those 3 issues are worth 3 losses. Put on the schedule, throw on another loss, and playing the Patriots. I think your division is a tough division. I think this AFC East is a very tough division, and you're the weakling of the division. No shade intended, but you are the weakling of the division. So I will see this Dolphins team. I'm going to be optimistic and say they're going to be 7-9.
Okay. Well, you did say earlier that they could go 8-8 with Matt Moore, is what you said. So
I said Matt Moore has the potential to give you an 8-8 season. Ryan Tannehill has the potential to give you an 8-8 season too. Sure. Has he done it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be very hard for this team to get momentum early in the season. That first trip to Seattle as a Bear, I don't think that the Patriots in Foxborough.
They
with
played
Jimmy
4
Garoppolo
playoff teams in the first 7 games.
Yeah.
4 playoff teams in the first 4 teams coming off playoffs in the first 7 games. That's tough. That's a tough start.
Yeah. And I mean, do you really think that Tannehill is running this Gase offense at 100% click on week 1?
I think by week 10 he will.
Okay. And then I think then they're going to start playing better.
Yep.
So, yeah, they might struggle. They're going to be under 500 goals. And then, at the end of the year, we'll get a little
What's your number on?
And they'll finish 8-8.
You got them finishing 8-8?
Finish 8-8.
All right. Hey.
Because of the strength of finishing strong down the stretch.
Cheers to an 8-8 season.
I can't wait.
Cheers.
Cheers to the playoffs in 2017.
All right. I could buy that.
All right. Thank you so much for watching this week. If you're watching us live, hang on. We'll do X's and Omar overtime, and we'll answer some of your questions. And we will talk Seattle next week. Thanks for watching.